Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Tales from the Dark Multiverse Blackest Night one-shot. This is a nice fat book, nice and thick. Look, it's got a spine. It's got a spine. It's not like super thick, but it's got a spine. I'm just saying. You can put it up on your shelf, you can look at it and see what it is, and you're golden, just like at a comic book shop. And that's the way the world's supposed to be. I'm going to tell you 5 things about this comic book after we talk about who made it. So, we've got Tim Seeley on writing, Kyle Hotz on pencils, Dexter Vines, Walden Wong, and Danny Mackay on inks, David Barron and Alan Pasalacqua on colors. Did the best I could, Alan. Did the best I could. Tom Napolitano on letters, and Lee Weeks and Brett Anderson on the cover. All right, this was a fun book. Let's talk about number 1 on this list. I mean, it's Blackest freaking Night, my peeps. Look, let's just be honest with ourselves, okay, and stop clowning around. If you read comic books, and you've been reading comic books for a while, you know that there's a 90, maybe 95% chance that Blackest Night either brought you back to comics after you gave up on them, or brought you into comics in the first place, because it was such an amazing story. It still is. It stands. It's one of the dollar comics this week. It's the dollar comic that DC put out this week. So boom, for $1 you can get the original issue of Blackest Night. I recommend going out and getting the trade if you never read it before, because seriously, the rest of us are talking about it. How about you? Don't you want to join the conversation? This is a Blackest Night story, and that right there is definitely a huge grab. So my number 2 on this list, and that is Lobo, Dove, and Sinestro. This is really one of their stories. Somebody else shows up too, but I'm not quite there yet. Anyway, this was fun. This was genuinely a fun comic book that had a couple of really cool characters, actually a bunch of cool characters. I genuinely enjoyed this. Let's talk about number 3 on this list. I'm just going to say Lobo's Cigar. I'm going to leave it at that. You get to it, you'll be like, that's what Professor Bill was talking about. Okay, that was good. That was a fun moment. Let's talk about number 4 on this list, and that is The New Gods Show Up. One of those characters who shows up is Mr. Miracle. Yeah, that's right, scot-free. This is great. Look. Is anybody going to really have a problem with this comic book? Maybe if you're a huge diehard, like, you can't be compromised with scot-free fan, because there are some people who are going to look at this and be like, that's not right. Myself, I looked at it, I was like, hey man, I can't believe they did that to scot-free. You know what? I guess I can kind of see it. I'm going to let it go because it's kind of important to the story. I'm going to let it go. Because anybody who really knows Scott knows that if anything's going to get to him and cause him to second guess something, it's this. But this is awesome. Other than that, guys, number 5 on this list is True to Character. I still think that Scott was pretty true to character. You know, just a little bit of backsliding there. But for the most part, everybody else in this comic book, solid. Even the Blackest Night, the Lanterns, they all sounded like themselves. You remember how the Black Lanterns would come up and they'd say like the worst kind of things to each other. And like, dude, Jeff Johns, what you doing, bruh? Yo, this is like some seriously evil stuff to say to this character. Yeah, they're doing it again. It's just like that. And yes, it does happen where every so often, you know, Hal Jordan of Earth die. It's like, oh, dude, it's coming back again. The White Lanterns, you know what I'm saying? Kyle Rayner isn't in this, but, you know, like, let's just, Hal Jordan of Earth, live. Oh, my God. Y'all remember those days. Y'all remember those days when we were reading Blackest Night. Bruh, the book is back as far as I'm concerned. Just one issue. Oh, but Tim Seeley pulls it off, man. And this art team is solid. Guys, I am in love with this dark multiverse stuff. Man, DC is just kicking it into high gear with this stuff, dude. I am so thoroughly impressed. All 3 of the issues that have come out so far, they're all good. All right, guys, that's it from me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.